Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. What an amazing episode. But before I get into my review, if you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. I summarize and review the latest Bayanlış and Sanchal Kapımı episodes. Say what I liked, what I didn't like, what I've noticed, what I think might happen next. If you like these kinds of videos, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, and we will see on a weekly basis how amazing was episode 5 of Sanchal Kapımı. Before I get into the whole Edser storyline, let's talk a little bit about Engin and Pırıl. So we get to know that Pırıl is very tense because of work, because she's so focused. She's kind of a workaholic. Engin is the complete opposite. I mean, he does his work, he does his job quite well, I believe, but still he's very relaxed, and whenever he gets the chance he makes jokes, he's funny, he's easygoing. So the complete opposite to Pırıl. She's quite attracted to him. He's also kind of attracted to her, but the fact that she's so tense, so serious all the time kind of keeps him at a safe distance. When they're in Antalya, their rooms are next to each other, so when they get out on the terrace they see each other. Pırıl kind of liked it. When they had this little meeting, Engin said that he's very bored with this whole work thing, and he's really happy that Eda also joined them because she's kind of fun. She promised him to go out in the sea, just have some fun on the beach. So then Pırıl is like, well, I can be fun as well. So he's very skeptical and is like, yeah. She then gets really upset, and after some time, so later in the episode, you see her, I believe she was drunk because she had I don't know how many cocktails that he recommended, but they then shoot a TikTok video. So they get closer and closer together, and then Pırıl kind of asks him out, asks him if they can meet each other outside of work, and he likes that. So I'm really interested to see what will happen next with their relationship. But at the same time I'm like, well, he liked the lawyer friend of Eda. Where was she? Because I missed her this episode. We saw everybody except for her. I mean, they mentioned her that she took over this lawyer business, or that she's more focused on work right now, so that's why she couldn't also be there with Fifi and Melos. But then I'm like, is she getting cut out of the series completely? They say that she has to go somewhere and then we don't see her ever again, or was it just for one episode? Because I kind of liked her. Then we have this whole Melos storyline going on. So Melos, as we know, she got fired from her job. Khan recommended her to this Thanos cosmetic company, whatever, and she gets a call. She gets the opportunity to have an interview, but because she's not very experienced, Fifi kind of helps her with her styling. It's just like a copy of Fifi. It was hilarious. Then Fifi tries to do a mock interview and Melos just bombs it, doesn't know anything. She's so hyped, and then Fifi says, well, I can talk to you through an earpiece if you want, and I will give you the right answers. But before that, Khan calls Melos because now we have to think. So that evening, Celine finds the contract between Eda and Serkan. Ferret takes the opportunity when nobody is around and takes a picture of that contract, of the top part of the contract where it says that Serkan will buy Eda chocolate whenever she wants, and that Eda will spend every weekend with Serkan or something like that. So I don't know if it was just to have something to blackmail Serkan with, or was it just for him to mock them. In that moment I was like, okay, maybe he's jealous of Serkan and Celine's closeness at the moment, so maybe he will use it as blackmail. But then we find out, or we see, that Ferret actually tells Khan about this contract and sends him a picture. Of course, Khan uses it, goes to the press with it, says that they should release it at a certain point, exactly like a couple of minutes before Serkan gets his award. But then the reporter says, well, she's very interested in this whole topic because they don't know anything about Eda. And he says, well, I have a very close source, so Melos. That's why he calls her to get some more information about Eda. They meet up, or he lets somebody pick Melos up, and then when she gets out of the car, he takes her hand, kisses it, and I'm like, oh my god. Now Melos is complete mush, and he knows it and he likes it because that way he can get the information he wants from her. But he was just like, Oh, hello. Mama. Then he presses this whole topic that they should keep their relationship private because Melos is constantly looking around, being kind of scared that somebody who knows her will see her with Khan. And then she says to Khan that Eda wouldn't mind their relationship, but then he says that Serkan would, so that's why they should keep their relationship a secret. And Melos also agrees with it, and I'm like, girl, no, just no. Then we also have the second part of Melos' storyline. So Aydan invites Ayfer to their place to get to know them because Artikin wants to get to know Eda's family because Serkan took Eda to Antalya to such an important event. He says that it's quite serious between them. Aydan doesn't like this idea, but Artikin kind of forces her and tells her to invite Ayfer or Eda's family to have dinner with them so they can get to know each other. Ayfer then takes Fifi and Melos with her. Funnily enough, during that dinner, Melos actually gets a call from that cosmetic company that she has an interview at a certain time. She needs a laptop because it will be online. She's at this dinner, so she has no laptop. She panics. Artikin, the nice guy he is, apparently, gets her a laptop. She can have the interview right where everybody is. Fifi tries to give her hints, but the interviewer is not very impressed by her CV, by her career. Melos is very sad. I felt really sad for her. Artikin sees it. Melos goes to the horses, talks to them. Artikin, it seems like he has a good heart because he offers her a job at the holding as an assistant. He seemed like a nice person in this episode because we also see that when Aydan was getting ready for bed, he stood there leaning on the wall, he wanted to flirt with her, kind of getting close to her again, but she just sent him away. We still don't know what really happened between them. And also, Serkan called his father and questioned him about this whole Ferret thing and told him that Ferret is also very close to Khan, but Artikin is like, no, he won't do anything, he can't harm us. But Serkan warns him, so maybe something will happen in the future where Artikin will come to Serkan, asks him for help and be like, you were right. But what I want to say is that Artikin looks at a picture of him when he was younger with a little boy in his arms. So something happened in Serkan's childhood, or maybe when Serkan took over this company, something happened that would make this rift between father and son so big. So it's really interesting to see what's really the reason why they are the way they are. Also, because I said that Aydan invited Ayfer to come to dinner, because Ayfer was like, no, you can come to me because last time I was there, you can come to me. Aydan didn't give Ayfer the reason why she can come, so Seyfi actually goes to Ayfer, explains the reason why, because Aydan gets panic attacks whenever she's in big crowds or in an unknown surrounding. So Ayfer feels really bad for her, and that's why she goes. We also have a tiny storyline of Celine and Ferret where we see that Ferret is really jealous of Serkan, because I mean, I kind of get Celine because it's her job, Serkan is her boss, it is the way it is, it's their history, they were together, but she still has a job to do, and her job is to be his PR manager. So for Ferret to be this jealous of her being this close to Serkan is kind of unreasonable, except he really fears Celine getting back together with Serkan. That could be a probable reason for him to behave that way, but still I felt really bad for Celine. We also have this small chat between Serkan and Celine where he says that Ferret is not the man for you, and then she's like, well, who is it? And he doesn't answer it. So maybe, I mean, we know he's falling for Eda, but still he feels that there is something about Ferret that he doesn't like, and because he was so close to Celine, maybe he still has feelings for her, not in a coupley way, but he cares for her as a friend, so maybe he's looking out for her in that way. And now we can move on to the amazing Eda and Serkan storyline. So that evening when Celine finds the contract, I predicted that maybe Aydan would step in and help them, but nobody really did. Ferret kind of mocked them for having a contract in their engagement stage, because normally you would do that when you marry somebody. So for them to have that at that stage was really hilarious for him, and Ida felt really bad, but also because now her aunt knows that there's a contract and she doesn't know the whole truth. When Eiffel went away, she said goodbye to Ida. You could really see her disappointment in her eyes. Anyways, they go to Antalya. I thought it was really funny for them to arrive like in couples, so Engin and Pırıl, Serkan and Ida, and Ferret and Celine. We know now that Ferret actually organized this hotel because he either invested in it or he's a partner in it. Like, he has something to do with that hotel they are staying in. Serkan is actually there not just because he gets an award, but also because he wants a contract signed with Mr. Birol. I think his name was Erol. Very funny, Erol Birol. Anyways, so he has to meet with Mr. and Mrs. Birol to get this project going. I believe a golf course or something like that. I don't remember correctly, but anyways, he needs both their signatures. As soon as they arrive, Serkan is very focused, says we have to have a meeting to be all on the same page to know what we have to achieve during this trip. But that's a little bit later when Engin says that he's quite bored and he's happy that Ida is also with them. So they all go to their rooms. Ida and Serkan also go to their room. Ida is not really impressed that there's only one bed and they have to share it apparently. And then Serkan says, well, you go and tell Ferret if you want to say that you don't want to stay in the same room as I am. So she's okay, I will sleep on the couch. She doesn't feel comfortable with Serkan being this close when she sleeps, I believe. But anyways, he questions why she has only one luggage with her. So she's like, well, I have some shorts, some shirts, some flip-flops, whatever. And he's like, do you even know where are you going? We have an award show, we have this. You need to have proper clothing. So he organizes this whole styling team and racks full of clothing for Ida to try on. She asks who are they from. He says some sponsor, but in the end we find out it's actually him who organized this whole thing, who bought those clothes. And because she wouldn't feel very comfortable knowing that it came from him, he said that it was from a special sponsor, which I thought was really adorable. So Serkan and Ida are prepared to meet Mr. and Mrs. Birol, but Mr. Birol, sorry, Erol calls Serkan and says he has to postpone the meeting because they're getting a divorce and they had a huge fight, and he doesn't want to be in the same room as his still wife and she doesn't want to be in the same room as him. Serkan is not very amused by that. Or actually, before Mr. Birol says that he will get a divorce, he says that he has to postpone the meeting for an hour, and that's when Ida comes to Serkan and says let's go into the sea, have some fun, because we can get ready in an hour. So they get into the sea, have some fun. The shots were amazing. Anyways, they get back. Serkan gets a call that what I already said, Mr. and Mrs. Birol will get a divorce, so they won't have the meeting. Ida has this amazing idea that they all should play volleyball. I really like seeing just all of them having fun. After the volleyball match, we have Serkan and Ida in their room, and Ida telling Serkan that she kind of likes Ferret, that he's a very nice guy, he's very sweet. And then Serkan gets kind of jealous and he's like, well, am I not sweet? And Ida says, no, you're just charismatic. And he was kind of like not really amused by that fact that she said he's not sweet. I believe that's also when Serkan asks Ida for help to distract Ferret so he can have a couple of minutes with Celine, so he can tell her what he feels for her, that he doesn't like Ferret and blah blah blah. Ida of course agrees because it's part of their deal. So she goes inside, goes to sleep. He says he will stay outside, he will work a little bit late. But I think he just used this as an excuse for her to feel comfortable to be able to sleep inside, because he falls asleep outside. She wakes up, she brings him a blanket, and I loved it. When she put the blanket on him, he actually smirked, so he was awake. He felt that and he liked that, and I thought it was so adorable. Like, that moment was amazing. So the next morning we have this meeting with Mr. and Mrs. Birol. So Celine and Serkan are one part and Engin and Pagul are the other part, so they are having the same meeting, the same points to talk about, but not with the couple together. So one group is talking to Mr. Biggle and the other group is talking to Mrs. Biggle, and Mr. and Mrs. are like sitting back to back, so they hear the reason why the other one side. And the interaction between Serkan and Engin was so funny when they were like panicking, what is happening, why is the other person not signing and stuff like that. It was really hilarious. So then we have Serkan meeting with Erol at a beach bar, I believe, talking about this deal, and Serkan kind of persuading Erol to sign, but he's like, I won't sign, I don't want to have a project with this woman. His wife actually comes, goes to the bar where Eda is sitting, and they start talking to each other because the woman asks Eda if she can look and see if the old man, so Erol, is watching her. That's when it clicks for them, and Serkan and Erol are talking about like Eda, and I think her name was Sevim or something like that, and the girls are talking about the boys. What I thought was really interesting and really funny is that Eda and Serkan are E and S, like their initials. It's the same with Mr. and Mrs. Biggle because their initials are switched, so it's Erol and let's call her Sevim, so it's E and S, the same initials, but it turns out that their history is exactly the same. So Erol is exactly like Serkan and the woman is exactly like Eda. After that, they meet up for dinner, so that's when they get talking. That's when Mr. and Mrs. Biggle start talking about their relationship. Eda kind of enforces Sevil and Serkan kind of enforces Erol. They start fighting again. They walk away. Serkan is really frustrated by the fact that it didn't turn out the way he wanted to. He also got really frustrated with Eda a couple of times, what she told Sevil. But anyways, while Eda and Serkan are talking and saying, well, if this plan doesn't work out, we are not really allowed to get married, because if we do by accident, we will end up like them too. But in the background, you can really see Mr. and Mrs. Biggle making up. So then they call Serkan and say, well, we made up. I'm like, this is so fake, but at the same time I'm happy that Serkan got the signatures. So that night Serkan is doing something on the terrace, like working, and you see Eda just wandering around looking at Serkan, just trying to see if he still needs to work because she's so bored. And then he stops his work, packs his bag, and she wants to know where he's going, but he doesn't want to tell her, doesn't want to take her with him, but she kind of convinces him to take her with him. So they go to this Apollo temple or something like that. It's really nice, and the way they're talking and the story behind the temple and the story behind Apollo, it just reminded me of them. So I believe this story kind of foreshadowed what will happen in the future. So I think that they are already falling in love with each other, but I think something will happen. Maybe the time of the contract runs out, they go their separate ways. She goes to Italy, like she said in this conversation. She will get known, she will make a name for herself maybe, and then she will come back and they will get back together. But I don't know, in my head it sounded way better than me explaining it now, but for me it seemed like a foreshadowing of their fate, of what will happen next. Anyways, I really liked that scene of them sitting there looking at the temple, also the shooting stars, also him giving her coffee, and the mugs, there were a red one and a blue one. I don't remember what the color blue meant, maybe relaxed or something, I don't know, but he kept the red one, so was it a sign that he's falling more in love with her? Then we have them two going quite early to this waterfall, her confronting him with his behavior, even telling him that as soon as she gets close, because she has to because of the contract, to get Celine jealous, he pushes her away and she doesn't like that. She's really frustrated. He's like, just shut up for a second and listen, and then she's really amazed by that waterfall. And oh my god, that scene was amazing. I was like, oh my god, I love that scene so much. Them in the water swimming together, it was just pure magic. You don't have to understand anything, you just have to watch that scene just to know what I'm feeling right now and what I felt when I watched that scene. While they are gone, Engin, Pugul and Celine, or I think Ferret was also there. No, let's not put him in the equation. Let's just, them three are waiting for Serkan and Eda. More so on Serkan because he needs to get ready. Pugul is very tense again. So the day before she was really relaxed, was smiling a lot, and now she's back to her being really tense. When Eda and Serkan come back, Pugul is really angry. That's also when he tells Eda that they don't have much time left, so maybe the contract runs out. Because why would he say that? Because she says, well, let's enjoy the last couple of days, or let's, I don't remember what they're saying, but kind of like, let's make the last couple of days worthwhile to get Celine jealous. Anyways, they get ready, and that's when Eda is watching Serkan getting ready, what we already saw in the trailer, because she's actually FaceTiming with Melos, Fifi and Ayfer, because they're calling her to see how she's doing and telling her that they're going to Serkan's family. So they go to this award ceremony. Khan calls Celine, tells her about the news article. Celine is getting really panicked. In the meantime, Serkan is really relaxed, is giving a speech because of his award. Or before that, Mr. and Mrs. Birol come to them and say that they will sign after the ceremony. Back to Celine and the news article. Because she's the PR manager, she has to handle this whole situation because she sees paparazzi already running around trying to get a picture of Eda, maybe also Serkan. So she tells Eda, I mean, I don't know if I should see it as a positive or a negative for Celine to help Eda with this situation, but her telling Eda to go to the press, give a statement, was for me like she's pushing her into a shark tank. So I'm like, she's not doing the right thing, but at the same time she says to Eda, let me help you. So maybe she started to like Eda. I don't know, it's really hard to tell, but let's say she kind of wants to help Eda. So she told her, go there, give a statement, and I will deal with the rest. But Engin and Pugul are holding Eda back. Eda has a flashback of Serkan. He told her that he doesn't want to give a statement about her to the press. So she's kind of feeling bad, and she says, well, because of me, he's in this situation, so I have to work this out. So she walks up to the press, and who comes from behind? Serkan comes, takes her hand, goes a different direction, goes to the beach, and I'm like, oh my god. And the music, I mean, the music during the waterfall scene was, during this walk down the beach was, I mean, it was amazing. Anyways, he walks her like he's a man on a mission, walks her down the beach, picks her up when he's on sand, and they go on a boat and they just go away. And I'm like, oh my god, how amazing is that? I love that scene. Like, the ending was 10 out of 10, and that's the end. Now we get a trailer of Eda kind of taking on a project that Serkan doesn't really believe in, because his company is at stake, or his career is at stake, and she builds up this team who wants to help her. So it's basically Agdem and Melos who are there to help her finish that project, but apparently she's not capable of finishing it, so she gets really frustrated, and maybe it just gets too much for her, and Serkan comes and rescues her and helps her maybe, and tells her that her tears are not worth this, or no, the project is not worth her tears, or something like that. So basically telling her she shouldn't cry. I was like, I'm so excited for next week, I can't wait. But there are a couple of questions. So the first thing is, if he sailed away, when is this whole signature contract thing going to take place? And I have to say, the glasses that Serkan had on while he was in the boat, I don't know, I didn't like them. Maybe it's just me, but I don't think it suited him. Anything else to say? I'm really interested to see Melos at the company, being there at work with Eda. I'm really excited to see more cute scenes between Eda and Serkan, because those in episode 5 were just amazing. I loved every second of it. Like him smirking when she put the blanket on him. The waterfall scene from start to finish was amazing. Them in the sea, amazing. And the ending, I'm speechless. Like, I don't need more words. I think that's all I can say. I hope I didn't forget anything. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment what your thoughts are on episode 5 of Sen Çal Kapımı. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring the bell to be notified whenever I post something, and I will see you next time. Bye!